14 Sierra Whiskey 007 calling CQDX.
Bonjour, hello, welcome to MaxMountainWorld. Welcome to the workshop where I'm playing with antennas. Sort of. I have some plans together. I've just taken delivery of some stuff, sort of. It came in two parts. The second part came first. The first part came late. The guy decided he couldn't come up the mountain, so I actually had to do a 2.5 hour drive to go and collect it. But all is done now, and I'm just going to take you through exactly what I'm going to be doing here. Now, I'm not actually going to do it now. This is just a preempt for some antenna testing and comparisons and things like that. What I'm going to be doing is testing antenna performances on the receive as well, not just transmit but on receive. So who knows what's going to happen with all this. I've already done a little bit, but I'll explain exactly what's going on with this. It's good. I've taken the mag mount off at the Saxo, given it a clean up and a check over, all is well, and it's getting a new antenna. So the new antenna it's getting is that, which I'm keeping on the original bayonet mount. Basically keep the mag mount on the car. It doesn't need to move around, it won't damage the roof like that. To get into the garage, just a case of, as usual, unplug the antenna. So that's the Saxo taken care of. You probably noticed I called that a stinger antenna with a T, not a P, or a PR. And the reason why it is an original stinger antenna, I've managed to get a hold of one, and that's in red. One I've had a white one before, I've had a chrome one before, I've got a couple of black ones here, and I thought a red one would be nice and different, and it keeps it easily identifiable when they're all together and stuff like that. I'll show you the difference between a stinger and a springer. I've got one of each right next to each other here. The difference that I've noticed immediately is that on the actual antenna itself, on the wire is thinner on the Springer PR than it is on the Stinger T. And this is an original one that I had here that I bent, it had a little accident, but it still works fine. And down the bottom end, following these down, and you'll see that they fit the same. They're the same at the bottom end here, the same diameter, although this one seems a bit thinner. This kind of tapers off, and this is the same length all the way up and down. Both of them have 11 coils, but you'll notice if I line these up, this one is longer. They're separated different. So both of them have had roughly the same amount of usage, so it's not as if they've been stretched or anything like that. This one here is the Stinger T, and this one here is the Springer PR. And I've got another one of these 140mm diameter mag mounts, serial mag mount, same as identical to the one on the Saxo. I have a slightly different bayonet mount on it, and the bayonet mount, I've got a few of them because I've got a few antennas. So what I'm going to do with that, easy quick release, put back on and all the rest of it. So the antennas I'm going to be comparing is the, let me get this right, the Springer and the Stinger. I've also got the original antenna top section of the Antron, which I'm not sure what it does. I've never really tested it, so that's got a bayonet on it and that can get sorted out. Now, what I also have is 3 fire sticks. One of them on a heavy duty spring and a bayonet, and that's a 4-foot fire stick. I also have a 3-foot fire stick, slightly shorter, on a smaller spring and on the bayonet. And then I've got a 2-foot fire stick, again on a shock spring, a spring mount with the bayonet. Now the reason for the shock springs, obviously, it takes the shock out with a fairly solid antenna, but also it extends the length of it, as well as the bayonets doing so. And in so doing, much of you will be aware that I operate a lot down at 26 megahertz and not 27 megahertz, which is one major difference between the Springer and the Stinger. The Springer's set up for 27 and the Stinger is more set up for 26 and 27. It'll be interesting to see how they all tune up. But I can do comparisons from all of these and just quickly switch them over. No tools involved. Just chuck all that aside just now. What I also have now is a DV27. Now it's not quite the original one, it's one of the half-size ones, but still worth a wee play around with its adjustable top end section there, the one that people used to fit these little light things on that would illuminate when you transmit. Now it's not compatible with anything, it isn't, I'll explain why in a minute. I'm going to make up a bracket for that, and this can be connected. It didn't even come with a PL plug on it, so I'm going to have to fit a PL plug to it. I've got one ready to go, and I've got a male connector. The reason for that is the Antron is going to be coming down, and it's going to get replaced by this temporarily, so I still have an antenna to use on the radio in the home. But the Antron's coming down. It's been up for 3 years. I've still got, as I say, this top section for it, but I'm going to give it a full service clean up, check up and everything. I'm pretty sure it'll be okay. But there's another reason, I'll come back to that in a minute. Now I'll explain what's going to happen with Pop the Jag. I've got a Stereo 3000 which has a mount on a SO238, which is the PL259 male end on there, and it's a female on the actual Stereo. So I've got that is one hell of a mag mount. That's going on the roof permanently, and when I need to come and go in the garage, obviously I've got to take antennas down. I've been using bayonet fixings for that. One thing that was compatible between the DV27 and the Stereo 3000 is that on the bottom end of this there's a kind of funny wee thing here where you need a special tool to do it up, and imagine doing that every time coming into the garage. It's a little sort of 2-pin thing that you use to tilt it or to take it off or whatever, so that's going to have to stay in the home, and that's very rarely going to get used. But the original butterfly fixing for this is compatible, it's the same thing. So with the Stereo full time on the roof, I can just basically tilt it over, have it up vertical or tilt it down, whatever. So I'll cover that more again once I've got it all set up. I've got to keep the camera away from the magnets, obviously. Very, very strong magnets. But underneath here, that is the SO238 connection on the bottom there. Maybe can see it, maybe can't. But it's a standard PL plug size connection. And what I want to do is, with this being a mega strong mag mount, probably a bit over the top for a base loaded antenna, but not so, I'll be able to just unscrew this and screw the Antron straight on the top of it with the help of an adapter or two or whatever. So that's the plans for the project. And also the original little mag mount, which was useless, it kept falling off and denting the saxo and stuff. It's a mess, corroded up and stuff. So I'll do something with that, set it all up again, and that way hopefully I can have the main antenna on the Jaguar. I can have another one behind doing nothing and another one in front, and effectively make up a 3-element beam. Hopefully, I don't know, just free antenna play. That's what it's all about. So that's the plans for the future projects. Playing around with antennas, comparing antennas, as I say, transmit and receive. And I'll go more into that when I actually do the video on it. So that's basically it. playing, whatever, you know. I've done some calculations for all this and whatever. I've already tuned up the red antenna for Eck. It is spot on. So the other one, the old one, which was the old, let me get this right, let me see, that was the Springer that I had on, was okay, but it didn't actually tune all the way that wide. This one does, and I found that the original Stinger with a T that I had on before that got damaged, that has a much wider bandwidth. So we'll just have to see what happens, but it's going to be interesting what happens with the fire sticks and also the top section of the Antron. See what goes. Anyway, that's it for today. Just a quick one, preempting a future video that's going to happen in a week or so. I can't draw both cars out and be playing when there's so many people around, tourists and all that. End of the season is in a few days time, so as soon as that happens I'll be out there and I'll get something done in the way of a video to compare these. It's going to be fascinating to see exactly what happens. Hopefully I can get comparisons with contacts, which I don't have any contacts local to here, so I need propagation to do that. Another thing I'm going to do is I'll fit an antenna switch or two into the Jaguar as well, and that way I can do a comparison. It's not a case of, oh, change, just flick a switch, convert, and check it from there. So anyway, that's it for today. Thanks very much for watching. Until the next video, ciao.